The Toronto Maple Leafs are pleased to select from the London Knights of the Ontario Hockey League, Nazem Kadri.
Nazem Kadri becomes the second London Knight to go early in the first round of this draft, as Kadri is taken 7th overall by the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Oh, the Ottawa Senators aren't going to be happy with this. The Ottawa Senators really wanted Nazem Kadri. They don't get him. Brian Burke beats him to the punch. You look at Luke Schenn going 5th overall last year, Bob. Now you have Nazem Kadri going to the Toronto Maple Leafs with the number 7 pick. And you also have Yuri Toulouse from a few years ago. So now they're starting to build on their foundation with an explosive offensive player like Kadri, Bob.
Chance to be a very good offensive player, Pierre. Great hands, great skill, great mind for the game. Mark Hunter, the general manager of the London Knights, says, you know, there's been all this talk about whether Matthew Shane's in the same class as John Tavares. He thinks there should be a little more talk about whether Nazem Kadri should be in the same class as Matthew Shane and John Tavares for what he wants. And Pierre, you're absolutely right. The Senators would have loved to get a center of Nazem Kadri's pedigree, but they weren't able to do that. With the other thing about Kadri, the scouts will tell you there's 2 Nazem Kadris. One is the guy that showed up at the World Junior Camp last summer and dominated, was the best player on the ice. He was terrific with the Kitchener Rangers in the playoffs a year ago, terrific in the playoffs this year. But the other Nazem Kadri is the guy that's sometimes rather inconsistent, an in and outer who doesn't always share the puck well with his teammates. But Mark Hunter says in the games that matter most, he steps up, and this guy's got tremendous potential.
Here's the interplay between Bryan Burke and Bryan Murray of Ottawa just before the Maple Leafs made their pick.
What do you want to do?
Well, I'll flip you.
Kadri's the kid we're going to take. Is that the kid you want?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to take him. So.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Thanks. All right, let's go. Let's pick. That's him, to a T. You want to know Bryan Burke? That's what you do when you work for Bryan Burke, or if you're working against him. He's straight, he's to the point, he looks you in the eye, and he tells you, this is where we're going. You want the pick, you want the player, make a deal. Ottawa didn't want to make a deal. Burke took the player, and now Toronto's happy. Their rebuild well underway, and it really started with Luke Schenn at 5 last year, and it will continue with Kadri this year.
I'm not sure if a player of Lebanese descent has ever been taken. It certainly hasn't been taken this high. The family of Nazem Kadri came to Canada in 1968 from Lebanon. His father didn't play hockey. He was 4 years old. His father was 4 years old when they arrived in Canada. He was too poor growing up to be able to play hockey. Couldn't afford equipment, but wanted to make sure that he gave Nazem that opportunity. This was a terrific kid playing in the London minor hockey system growing up. Mark Hunter talked about him. His kids played against him growing up in Ontario, and said that he was always a dominant player. He's got tremendous offensive ability. He's just got to work on his consistency and show that his attitude is going to be there every single night and when he gets to the next level.
We're pointing out a broken jaw.
Yes.
Just before Christmas. So that kept him. He went to Canada's World Junior Camp, but wasn't able to really compete at a high level because of the broken jaw, but lit it up in the second half.
You know, we talked about the Evander Kane situation with character. I'll give you a Nazem Kadri character story from yesterday. I was in the hotel lobby with him. He was sitting by himself. He was waiting for an NHL team to meet him, to take him to a draft meeting. He waited there for 40 minutes. No representative from that team showed up. He stayed and waited. I called the general manager of that team. I said, this young man's waiting downstairs in the lobby. He said, please bring him up. I brought him upstairs. He couldn't be happier. What a tremendous young man. Good for Toronto.
All right, here is James Duthie with the Maple Leafs first round pick.
All right, well, Nazem Kadri, as we've been advertising, has been tweeting for us on Twitter, and one of your early ones was, I'm going to find out who my new favorite team is pretty soon. Your old favorite team was the Montreal Canadiens. You heard the reaction when Bryan Burke and the Leafs came up. There's some ironies here that you're now a Toronto Maple Leaf. How do you feel about it?
You know, I feel great. Yeah, I could tell, you know, a nice warm welcome here in Montreal, but, you know, be a part of the Toronto Maple Leafs, it's a great feeling, and I can't wait to get started.
Brian, you made it clear you wanted John Tavares many weeks back. You wanted to move up. You were interested in Schenn. How frustrated are you with the way things have gone?
We're not frustrated at all. We think we got an excellent young player. Our guys are really excited about today. And we looked at a move-up scenario, many of them including keeping 7. A lot of the move-up scenarios we looked at were requiring the pick outright, so we kept 7, so we got a shot at him.
We heard you talking to Bryan Murray, who wanted this guy as well. It was part of your decision to keep him away from Ottawa. Does that go into your thinking?
No. I don't care whether teams draft. We go after the guys we like. We're very excited about this young man. That's a great day for Toronto.
Did you come at all close of getting up into that top 3 and maybe getting a crack at Tavares?
We could have done it. I mean, we could have made that pick. I think people have to understand, my ego isn't that big that I got to be up on the stage with the first or second pick. We would have had to put Luke Schenn into the deal, and I wouldn't do that. We'd rather build on it, keep the pick this young man, keep Luke, and build and go forward.
Nazem, Brian always talks about the players he likes as belligerent and truculent. You seem too nice for that.
Yeah, no, I think so. But, like I said before, Toronto, I think it's a great fit for me. And, I got my foot in the door right now. And, I still got some work to do, though.
Brian's going to have to beat some belligerence and truculence into you. Congratulations.
We'll look for that in later rounds.
Brian Burke, the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the newest Toronto Maple Leaf, Nazem Kadri.